the past government didn't defeat corruption after 8 years, who is Tinubu? Says Reverend Father Mbaka. During the Your Labor Shall Not Be in Vain Sunday service head, Reverend Father Ejike Mbaka, the spiritual leader of the Adoration Ministry Enugu, Nigeria, restated a significant point regarding corruption in Nigeria. He stated that Muhammadu Buhari during his 8 years tenure attempted to combat corruption but ultimately could not overcome its grip on the nation. The Reverend posed a thought-provoking question to the congregation, questioning whether the current government would fare any better if the fight against corruption compared to Buhari's military-led administration. Reverend Father Ejike Mbaka drew attention to the fact that despite Buhari's background as a military leader and his extensive time in power, he was unable to effectively handle the issue of corruption within the country. The Reverend firmly expressed his belief that corruption had in a way triumphed over Buhari's efforts to eradicate it. He went on to suggest that Nigeria was currently facing a state of spiritual captivity, and addressing corruption was not merely a matter that could be resolved by human efforts alone. According to Mbaka, it is only through divine intervention that the nation could truly be emancipated from this corruption plague. In the Reverend's view, the onus of tackling corruption falls squarely on the shoulders of God, emphasizing that no human, irrespective of their position or power, possesses the ability to entirely uproot corruption from the country. While humans can make genuine attempts, true liberation can only be achieved through divine intervention. However, he also offered words of hope and reassurance, affirming his belief that Nigeria will eventually be rescued from its present state of spiritual captivity. In the conclusion of his sermon, Reverend Father Ejike Mbaka offered a heartfelt prayer, imploring God to intervene in the lives of the congregation members and the nation as a whole. He prayed for divine rescue, expressing his belief that regardless of the challenges individuals may be facing, God will provide assistance and deliverance. Reverend Father Ejike Mbaka's Your Labors Shall Not Be in Vain Sunday service sermon underscored the ongoing issue of corruption in Nigeria. He compared the efforts of former President Muhammadu Buhari to tackle corruption during his tenure and questioned whether the current governor could do any better. The Reverend Father emphasized that combating corruption requires divine intervention and that Nigeria was currently facing a state of spiritual captivity. Despite this grim assessment, he remained optimistic, assuring the congregation that God would eventually rescue the nation and its people from the challenges. The reason why Tinubu will not be able to fight corruption is that he himself he has a lot of baggages hanging on his neck. So he would do everything jete so that market no go for press put am. That is just the way I see it. He go dey follow things jete. You are talking about spiritual or whatever, but when they are spending money and stealing money, there's nothing like spirituality. All these things are being done in the physical, but when it's time for them to do the needful, and they will begin to tell you that they don't have the political will to do most of these things. Everything is not spiritual. It's just a deliberate act. Because if everything is spiritual, believe you me, God wouldn't have given us the willpower to take decisions on some things. He has said, he advised you that you should follow the path of righteousness, the path of truth, because the path of truth and righteousness will be the one to your great advantage. But if you feel like going the other way, good and fine. So if everything is all about spirituality, God does not need to be negotiating with us or giving us that free will. So that it won't be as if somebody compelled you to do that. But most of all these pastors, the way they are manner they talk, and that's why a lot of people are so lazy they cannot even think beyond the good wisdom God has given to them. Well, everything I God do, maybe I don't try my best. If God no do, if you know work, let me say God don't want make the thing work with that. That's why a lot of them are so lazy in thinking. They'll just give or
send all this thing back to God, that God should go and take care of that for themselves, for himself. Father Mbaka, after waiting a while for Tinubu to appreciate your efforts at opposing your own kinsman Peter Obi on his behalf and none came, you woke up to the fact that Tinubu cannot fight corruption. First, you saw that Obi cannot become president. Second, you are saying Tinubu cannot fight corruption. Is it you that can fix Nigeria, whose God is their belly? So says the Bible. Now, political prophecies, then they prophesy. Doom now all of them be. Ask him, but you were once supporting him from that US monastery. Maybe you are going to Afghanistan monastery this time if you know hold your mouth. You don't need to fight corruption. You created enabling environment for workers, make institutions strong, remove human barriers, automate public service. That's it. Not really rocket science. You not be rocket science at all. Go collect your contract as usual. Now you know. Because Tinubu is not Buhari and Buhari is not Tinubu, chameleon prophet, you are talking of corrupt man just like this, like he says. So you can't put a cassava and expect you can't plant cassava and expect a yam. You are one of the most corrupt man in Nigeria. You are corrupt because you are using the church to siphon innocent worshippers of in the name of God. Tinubu, that is corruption himself. Abiu, a lot of baggages, just like we said. He has a lot of baggages here and there. So who is going to fight corruption?